Shokero shaire shaya Izeta mahodi turomweni mombinzi Shokero shaire shaya Uyuni udhigu itaufuru My friend, you water tending on your thima wida Penduka Tareru yumi Boy no humbata haito ufuru Yemino Shokero shaire shaya You knew Shokero shaire shaya wuboy Fita mahodi turomwenyo mombinzi Shkumba tuwe Shokero shaire shaya Shokero shaire shaya You knew Shokero shaire shaya Ino kumbata ito Miyase Shokero shaire shaya Ino kumbata no Shokero shaire shaya Oh wait You got to let it go You got to let it flow let it go with the wind
Show me say no wawasho
Taitansa
Okahanja
no wawasho Kaikaiza
Omaruru
no wawasho
Ondondieto neno mpaka ulipehuri Ushibanda
no wawasho
Kaitauba Ushiwarongo
no wawasho
Wangombe akambiri ongonjo Ushakati
no wawasho
Ondangwa
no wawasho
Korongo wetu Okatima muliro
no wawasho
Komikoka vyehi Okakarara
no wawasho
Ushinene
no wawasho
Kolombo dembali Epukiro
no wawasho
Kokure mwache Ipako
no wawasho
Kohunandera akaero korupindi Otjozondji
no wawasho
Komea wetu ngeriara Ombae
no wawasho
Komea ngoma mbula walikana Koreopota
no wawasho
Koreopota rikana Ohibiona
no wawasho
Koshilongo chakateka mukuro uye Umarinda
no wawasho
Taraha ibesa Ukiaiti
no wawasho
No twice Koina mukango myango Ukakuberwa
no wawasho
Konchi omukaindi wakashorwa Oranye munda
no wawasho
Kolondia mande letwalikana Betani
no wawasho
Olongo weto ukoto Ochesa
no wawasho
Olongo mbela nashara Ukarasbeha
no wawasho
Komandero virongo
Aehe o mahinu walikana Namibia 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 no wawasho
Jehova lui-même qui dirige ses pas. Une épouse capable qui peut la trouver, sa valeur est plus grande que celle des couronnes. Par contre, le fruit de l'esprit, c'est l'amour, c'est la joie, c'est la paix. Par contre, le fruit de l'esprit, c'est l'amour, c'est la joie, c'est la paix. Bibi mimi nakupenda tuishi pamoja na wewe. 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 I love you, baby. More I can say it. I love you, baby. More I can do it. I love you, baby. More I can squeeze you. Woo! Le cœur de l'homme terrestre fait méditer sa voix, mais c'est Jéhovah lui-même qui dirige ses pas. Une épouse capable qui peut la trouver, sa valeur est plus grande que celle des couronnes. Par contre, le fruit de l'esprit, c'est l'amour, c'est la joie, c'est la paix. C'est l'amour, c'est la joie, c'est la paix. Bibi mimi nakupenda.
Good morning. We shall be starting now in a minute. We're just waiting for the arrival of the representative of the governor and the environmental commissioner. So we should be starting in the next 2 to 3 minutes. Please bear with us, and thanks and our sincere apologies for the delay. So as you can see that we are about an hour or more than an hour behind our schedule. Thank you.
Bibi mimi nakupenda tuishi pamoja na wewe. Bibi mimi nakupenda tuishi pamoja na wewe.
I believe we are about to start now. If we can, before the high table settles, can I ask everyone to rise for the singing of the national anthem and the AU anthem? Thank you very much. You may be seated. Honorable Johannes Hausiku, Chairperson of Otjozondjupa Regional Council, and also representing the Honorable Governor of the region, His Worship, the Mayor of our beautiful town of Otjozondjupa, Honorable Gottlieb Shivute, Environmental Commissioner from the Ministry of Environment, Forestry and Tourism, Mr. Timotheus Mufeti. I also recognize the presence of our acting CRO, Mr. Alwendo Shikongo. I recognize the presence of Chief Johannes Ubitep from the Tidalman traditional community and the members of the community. I recognize captains of the industry, in particular Dr. Lori Maka from the Cheetah Conservation Fund, and all the invited guests. Good morning. Goeiemorgen. Guten Morgen. Mwapenduka. Mwalalepo. Dumelang. Morekeni. Bonjour. My name is Petros Kutewe. I'm from Otjozondjupa municipality and a resident of the town. I shall be directing the proceedings this morning. As I indicated earlier that we are far behind our program with about an hour. I will try my level best to steer the ship in such a way that we cover the grounds that we lost in terms of time. So we're here today to commemorate the International Day of Biological diversity, in simple terms, biodiversity, which refers to a variety of life on Earth at different levels. So biodiversity is very important because it helps the Earth to maintain its resilience and balance, which gives us life as human beings. So basically it refers to all of us that live here, the animals, the variety of the diverse plants, animals, and all the microorganisms that are on Earth. So the theme of our celebration today is harmony with nature and sustainable development. So basically we are reminded that we should live harmony with our nature in order for us to attain our development in a sustainable way. So without any further ado, I would love to call Pastor John Guibe to bless our proceedings with a scripture.
Good morning, and I will just stand on the protocol already observed. On this very special day, which we commemorate the International Day for the Biological Diversity, I would like to ask to read from this Psalm 24, only verse 1 and verse 2. And it reads as follows: The Psalm of David. The earth is the Lord's, and its fullness the world, and those who live in it. For he has founded it on the seas and established it on the waters. The Lord Jehovah is the creator of the universe. Therefore all things are his, and every human being belongs to him. Whatever we use in this world is not our property, but it's God's. Whatever we do to another human being, we do to God's possession. On the basis of the creation alone, we belong to the Creator. We have these few words. Can we rise for the prayer? Let's bow our heads and pray. Merciful God, Lord, grant us the wisdom to care for the earth and to till it. Help us to act now for the good of future generations and all your creatures. Help us to become instruments of a new creation founded on the covenant of your love. We pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you very much to our pastor. Going back to our program, our town is under the custodianship of the first citizen of our town, who is the mayor. So I've noticed that we have got a lot of guests that are coming from outside town. Of course, if you are a guest into a home, you expect to be welcomed so that you feel comfortable, so that everything that you do in town, you know that the town has accepted you. His Worship, I invite you to the podium to welcome our guests. Thank you.
Director of Proceedings, thank you very much for inviting me to this podium and welcome you and also greeting you at the same time. Director of Proceedings, let me have this honor to acknowledge the following protocol. The Environmental Commissioner, representing the Minister, Honorable Indileni Daniel, Master Timotheus Mufeti, Honorable Ausiku, the Chairperson of the Regional Council of Otjozondjupa Region, representing the Governor of Otjozondjupa Region, the local authority councillors and the regional councillors present here. You are all acknowledged. The Otjozondjupa Regional Council Acting CRO, Master Alwendo Shikongo, the stakeholders present here. I recognize CCF, the traditional authorities, the police, and the captains of industries present here, the community members of Otjivarongo, the learners, the media, and all protocol observed. I greet you all in all languages that was just mentioned by the Director of Proceedings. And as I was entering, there was someone there that was shouting my name, Kendi Shivute, my biggest fan. You are greeted. It is a privilege to have you all with us today as we commemorate the International Day for Biological Diversity under the theme, Harmony with Nature and Sustainable Development. A warm welcome, in particular, to the Honorable Minister in her absentia, but represented by the Environmental Commissioner, Master Timotheus Mufeti, and your team, as we honor to host you here in our town of Otjivarongo. And Master Mufeti, please pass my greetings to the Honorable Minister and also to congratulate her on her appointment. Honorable Minister, the Otjivarongo is proud to serve as a backdrop for the significant event, as our town is a journey to guide by a clear vision to become a world-class smart city, a vibrant economic hub built to serve excellence and share prosperity. But we know that progress means very little, and it leaves our environment behind. Nature is not a separate concern, it is part of our foundation we are trying to build on, whether it's clean water, fertile land, climate resilience, biodiversity touches every sector of our local economy, from agriculture and tourism to energy and livelihood. If we want to grow as a smart, sustainable city, then caring for our environment must be the part of our plan. Hence, dear residents, stakeholders, and investors, today we should ask ourselves, what does it mean to live in harmony with nature, and how do we do? As a town, to protect our natural resources while still pursuing a growth. Yes, we may not need all answers today, but we do need to be part of the conversation, and more importantly, as part of the solution. Therefore, I encourage you all to take part in an active role to the program of today. Let these gatherings be more than a symbolic event, but it's a starting point to renew commitment to practical and local actions. Moreover, the protection of biodiversity must be reflected not only in policies, but in how we manage our land, how we educate our children, and how we make decisions that affect the future of our town. With these few remarks, dear residents, stakeholders, and everyone present here, let this engagement be productive as the day go ahead. And thank you very much for listening attentively. Let us have a productive day. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, His Worship. The Mayor emphasized the commitment by his town, this town, to safeguard our environment. I don't think many of you know that Namibia was the first country to incorporate environmental protection into its constitution. So our commitment to environmental protection is not only born out of our desire to safeguard our livelihood, is a constitutional obligation which every Namibian should also undertake. So that is important. That's why as a town also, as part of our strategic plan, we also have strong emphasis on environmental protection. Before I call in a performance from the Environmental Club of the Monica Gaingos Secondary School, I would love to inform you that this proceeding is being streamed live on all the social media platforms of the Ministry of Information. So it's being followed throughout the whole country, just for your information. And with that, I would love to call the Environmental Club from the Monica Gaingos Primary School to, I don't know whether it's a presentation or it's a poem or is a performance, but they're going to give us something. Do you want to come over here? Please feel free and enjoy.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Eric Philip. I'm from Monica Gaingos Secondary School, and I'm going to present to you a poem about nature conservation. Nature is everywhere. Nature is everywhere you go. Nature is all the plants and animals in the environment, big and small, harmless and harmful. Nature is beautiful at its peace. Nature is the beginning and the end of life. So please listen carefully and protect the environment. Keep our environment beautiful and safe. Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I go by the name Nawa Evalisa, Elena from Monica Gaingos Secondary School. I'm going to give a poem about nature. Guidance of green. Nature whispers, soft and true, a gift so old, yet everything new. With every tree, with every stream, the earth in gentle dream. Protect the air and the sets of the land. The earth, a caring hand for future hearts, for skies so blue. Conserve the world, it depends on you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I believe we can give them another round of applause as they sit down. I think the message from the two learners is very clear. Nature is everywhere. Nature is beautiful. Nature is peaceful. Nature gives lives. Let us protect nature. I think that is a simple message from the two poems. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, allow me to call upon Honorable Johannes Hausiku, who is going to deliver a speech on behalf of our Honorable Governor, who could not be with us this morning, as he is attended to other important national assignments. Honorable Hausiku is a chairperson of the Otjozondjupa Regional Council, for those who might not know. Honorable Hausiku.
Yeah, thank you very much, Director of Proceedings, Mr. Petrus Kutewe. So first of all, let me just introduce myself. My name is Johannes Hausiku, Tsumkwe Constituency Councillor, and newly elected as chairperson of Otjozondjupa region. Director of Proceedings, His Worship Mayor of Ochuarongo, Gottlieb Kendi Shivute, Environmental Commissioner, Mr. Timotheus Mufeti, our acting CRO, Shikongo Alwendo, Deputy Director, Mr. Olympio Nulipo, Chief Johannes Ubeti, invited guest, Pastor John Quibeb, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, all protocol observed. I will deliver this message on behalf of the Honorable Governor of Otjozondjupa region, Honorable John Julius Kamuseb, the Governor of Otjozondjupa region, and I will read it as it is. It is immense delight and profound sense of humility that I speak before you today at this International Day for Biological Diversity. I am particularly pleased to have been availed this opportunity to welcome all distinguished guests to our region, especially those who travel from far. Biodiversity is vital for human for several reasons, including ecosystem stability and resilience. Biodiversity ecosystem tend to be more stable and resilient in the face of environmental changes. The presence of variety of species means that if one species is affected by disease or environmental disturbance, others may continue to fulfill vital ecological functions such as nutrient cycling or pollination. Human health play a role in human health by providing diverse and nutritious diet, as well as contributing to the development of medicine and treatments. Many of our essential drugs include antibiotic and pain relievers are derived from natural compounds. Ecosystem services provide essential economic services such as water, purification, air quality regulation, and climate regulations. Those services are fundamental for human well-being and functioning of the plant. Resilience to climate change can enhance ecosystem resilience and in face of change, diverse ecosystem are better sequential carbon which can help mitigate the effect of climate change. Economic benefits contribute significantly to economies worldwide. Many industries rely on diverse biological resources for their products and services. Biodiversity support livelihood and generate income for millions of people. To preserve our forest cover, alternative to more productive use of existing agricultural land. More diverse livelihood opportunities and action against legal logging is of separate silos. We can't succeed, we have to have a holistic approach to achieve greater quality and to restore mainly the integrity of the ecosystem. If we truly want biological diversity to be successful, we must learn to coexist with our environment. Hence, the vision of this commemoration of International Day for Biological Diversity is to make this complex relationship between nature and man and climate understandable. Young people and old must become more aware of the nature surrounding them and also learn about the neglected importance of even small reptiles and insects. Because sometimes we are burning field fire, but we don't think about the small insects and reptiles which cannot run away. So when we destroy them, we might not get them back. To this end, I would like to take this opportunity once again to all of you and warmly thank you, the Minister, especially the Minister of Environment and Forestry and Tourism for their concrete effort to raise biodiversity awareness. I thank you.
Another round of applause for the Honorable Councillor as he walks down to sit down. Thank you very much. The message is clear to us from the highest office in the region. I think the emphasis is on protecting the environment. We know that we are approaching a very dangerous season, that is the wildfire season. We have received a lot of rain, we have a lot of grass, and this time the grass is drying and it's very windy. So this is the season when we experience a lot of fires around the environment. And as you're setting out this fire, think about those small living beings that cannot run away from this fire and how many of them we are destroying. And if any of us chopped down a tree yesterday or this morning, or maybe you just crushed a small reptile next to you, I think The message from the Office of the Governor is do a self-introspection and reflection as to, did I do the right thing? And how did that action affect the ecosystem in which we all live? I think these are some of the key messages that we need to take home with. And with that, I would love to call upon the Environmental Commissioner, Mr. Timotheus Mfeti, to deliver the keynote speech on behalf of the Honorable Minister of Environment and Tourism, Honorable Indileni Daniel, who unfortunately could not be with us here, but her message will be delivered by the Environmental Commissioner. Please help me to welcome him to the podium. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Director of Proceedings, for the opportunity to deliver a statement on behalf of Honorable Minister. My name is Timo Mufeti. I'm working as Environmental Commissioner based in the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Tourism. Minister wanted to be here, but she's currently out of town, out of country. She's in Harare, in Zimbabwe, where she's joining other countries from SADC to discuss issues related to the conservation. But she has prepared a message that she really wants me to deliver. I even communicated with her last night, and she would really love to be here. We send her a program, we send her a picture, and she's sending her greetings. But I'm happy to try to fit into her shoes and deliver her statements. I think before that, I would like to stand by the protocols as established, but let me recognize few people on behalf of Honorable Minister. I would like to recognize Honorable Governor in her absentia, and they're represented by the Honorable Councillor Hausiku of Tsunkwe constituency, who is also the chairman of the Otjozondjupa Regional Council. His Worship, Honorable Shivute, thank you very much for your welcome to the town. We always feel much welcomed when we come here, and we will continue to come. We'd like to recognize Mr. Shikongo, the Acting Regional Officer, for your hospitality, and also the Chief Executive Officer for the town, the Regional Police Commander and the police officials who are here. Wanted to recognize all the representatives from the government institutions, offices, ministries, and agencies who are here. Thank you so much for coming. We want to recognize our elders, the traditional leaders who are with us. Thank you so much for your leadership and for continuing to lead us. The members of civil society organizations who are here today, thank you so much for joining us. The representative of our development partners who continue to support us as a government and as a country with our interventions and our activities that we are implementing. We specifically would like to recognize our partners from Cheetahs Conservation Foundation, the representatives who are here. Thank you so much. We have received your invitation to visit your center. I have conveyed that invitation to Honorable Minister. I will make sure he will come and see the good work you are doing. And then all other invited guests and esteemed community members who are here, the schools who are partaking in this event, thank you so much. Members of media, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. So I'm going to read Minister's speech. Of course, I'm going to spice here and there where I can without diluting Minister's message, because I'm also in the sector and I am not in the program, so I must use this opportunity where I can and add. But this is Minister's speech, and it reads as follows. It's an honor to address you on the occasion of International Day for Biological Diversity, which is celebrated annually on the 22nd of May. This day was on purpose dedicated through UN systems to be dedicated to us, to think and to remember and to talk about and to celebrate the biodiversity. Biodiversity is vital to the survival of life on Earth, and its conservation and sustainable use of a fundamental to the health of our planet. This year's theme is harmony with nature and the sustainable development. It's a very good theme because it's timely and it's appropriate, looking into the developmental issues that we are facing. Then I think that many of us, we always think biodiversity. What is it really are we talking about? Do we know? Do you know what is biodiversity? In my culture, we say when people are quiet, it means yes, they know. Then you don't need to explain. But it's really the natural world around us. It's the variety of all the kind of organisms, the plants, the animals, the insects, even the microorganisms that are around us, that live on the planet and which live together and that work together in a very delicate balance to form ecosystems that maintain and support the life on Earth. So in other words, biodiversity is really the life on this planet. It's everything that is alive, that is living. The planet has got all these buildings, all these nice roads and cars, but the living element of it is what we are talking about today. That is what biodiversity is all about. It has been created as such to make life, to make world functioning. Think about creation. The way it was created. That balance has been put there for the purpose, and we have to maintain it. Because if it's not there, then we are going to get the different life from what it was intended to be. So it's our duty. So the biodiversity, therefore, of all these things I mentioned, supports the ecosystem that provide essential services for human well-being. They are the one providing food, they are the one providing medicine, clean water, and the health environment for all of us. That is now the good part of it. But unfortunately today the situation is not as it is. The biodiversity loss is accelerating, it's driven by human activity. It's us, people, who are changing this beautiful picture from where it was supposed to be. With our activities, So there is a problem. And this is not only a problem for Namibia, this is a global crisis that requires a collective action. It requires all of us. No nation, regardless of wealth or power, can solve this problem alone. So in Namibia, the Minister of Environment, Forest and Tourism, therefore, came here today to urge all of us, all Namibians, to adopt sustainable practices on how we use our natural resources to safeguard our rich environmental heritage. The minister continued to say, Namibia is now currently updating our national biodiversity strategy and action plan for the period of 2025 to 2031. And that this is a government or a national strategic plan that will guide all our efforts to halt these problems that are affecting our biodiversity, to halt the biodiversity loss, and to promote the sustainable development. So this requires an inclusive participation of everybody, all of us, and especially our marginalized groups, our indigenous people, indigenous knowledge, women and youth, to participate in this process, to support the government in implementing this strategic plan. Furthermore, this effort of working together and through this strategic plan that this government is developing will strengthen our effort to address inequality, advance sustainability, respect traditional knowledge, and it will empower our local communities. As this year's theme reminds us, living in harmony with nature is essential to a better future for all of us. Namibia is such a beautiful country with unique landscape and ecosystems. Look at all our deserts, all our wetlands, our woodlands, our forests, and our grasslands, our savannas. This is beauty. This is why we have got a lot of people coming all the way from their countries to come and visit us and enjoy this heritage. I've never seen a beautiful country like Namibia. So this is our home. We should be proud. I think this is why even the director of ceremony was already alluding to our forefathers, that we are the first country to put environmental protection into our constitution. We should be proud of us protecting this beautiful. So this beauty of our country, our landscape, our ecosystems, they are home to remarkable biodiversity. These ecosystems support unique global significant species, including our black rhinos, our cheetahs, our elephants, and all our endangered species. If you go to our deserts, we have got the world's oldest desert. Our Namib Desert is the oldest of all. And it has got life there, it's biodiversity there. It's a unique ecosystem. So we have to preserve it. The other time there was some investors who came to my office with a project to plant forest in our desert. Then we said, no, we want to keep our desert the way it is. Bring something else that can coexist with that landscape. So we have to maintain it, and the many, many other landscapes that we have. So unfortunately, the decline of our biodiversity has far-reaching consequences, not just for nature, but also for us as people and for our health. It increases the risk of diseases transmission and the global pandemic. We all remember very well COVID-19. I think it is still fresh in our minds. These are all because of what we do to the nature. We will face more of these problems and this pandemic if we are not careful. The drivers of biodiversity loss are well documented, and we know most of them. It's climate change, invasive species that comes into our environment, which were not supposed to be there. It's overexploitation of resources, our natural resources. It's pollution. It's land use change. It's expansion of some other land uses like agriculture and urban expansion. Of course, these are some of the things we need, but we need to do them in a more balanced, in more sustainable manner. But unfortunately, when I observe and when we see, we live and behave as if there is no tomorrow. So there is a tomorrow. Our constitution is clear. Let's meet our needs today, but let's not hamper or jeopardize the future generation to be able to meet their needs. So these are the things, unfortunately, that are visible also in Namibia. And as such, we are now facing other challenges. Increasing temperatures, degraded habitats, invasion of plant species continue to threaten our wildlife. Our marine ecosystems, in particular, are under stress due to warming waters that even affect our coral reefs and fish population, in addition to other human activities such as overfishing and the pollution that is happening in our marine environment. These are all the things that we need to address. According to the United Nations and the recent scientific studies, nearly half of all marine species are now at risk due to climate change. The World Wildlife Fund Living Planet report of 2024 underscored this crisis, revealing staggering 73% global decline in wildlife population over the past 50 years. There's only about 16% of land and only 80% of oceans worldwide are currently underprotected. And this will now call for us to increase, to make improvement on this percentage. So to address these challenges, the Namibian government is reforming its policies and the regulatory framework to support green, blue, and circular economy, which is focused on long-term sustainability. We have put in place our legislation frameworks, things like Environmental Management Act, Forest Act, Marine Resources Act, Nature Conservation Ordinance. We are now preparing to put in place a Wildlife and Protect Areas Management Bill. Those are the frameworks we have, but continuously we are making them better, we are reviewing them, we are amending them to respond to the changing world and environment. In addition to this framework or legal framework, the government is trying hard to put in place systems that are working together with our partners and the civil society, private sector, to address this challenge. One of the measures that we have realized because of capacity, we start now to recruit additional environmental officers. We start with people who are already in government. We will soon go to the private sector because we have realized that it's not only public service. We need to go out and get people who are, for example, in the region here, who can be appointed by the minister as environmental officers to volunteer to support the government in your area of expertise, to be able to support the government to be able to achieve its mandate. As we said, it's a collective measure that we need to work together to achieve this goal to protect and conserve our biodiversity. It's also important to recognize that Namibia's economy is highly dependent on our biodiversity. Our rich fisheries, tourism, and all other nature-based enterprises generate employment, support livelihood, and they drive our economy to grow. It's all nature-based. Most of it is biodiversity dependent. And now you can see the linkage between economic development and the nature conservation and the biodiversity conservation. It goes in hand in hand. So that's why we call upon businesses to begin to work with us and to take their part, to bring their part in this effort. For example, businesses can begin to account for their biodiversity impact and invest in nature-based solutions that reduce environmental impact and harm. We encourage private companies to adopt a biodiversity management framework to reduce their ecological footprint and to contribute to national sustainability and sustainable goals. Ladies and gentlemen, the ministry recognizes that halting or addressing biodiversity loss requires a profound transformation in how people relate to nature. I think there's also a problem there. We need to change our minds. We need to start rethink our practices. We are consuming, we are exploiting, we are damaging, we are over-harvesting too much. Then what we need? That mentality needs to change. That's why we said that the theme for this year is coming very good. The awareness. We need to raise awareness. We need to make our people understand. I know it's not easy where we are coming from. How would I relate to understand that the mosquito, which bites me, is also important to nature? How I can comprehend that? That's what we need to work on. There is a famous story by our previous minister that we like to talk about, and it's about awareness. Apparently one day he was driving from, those who know Ohangwena region, from Onuno to Okongo. It's a nice tired road now. Then somewhere there, he was just puzzled by a group of people gathered on one big tree. Then he passed and he came back to see what is going on. When he came there, he found the people have got axes, some have got pangas, some are even preparing fire to burn that tree down. And then he was wondering, what is going on? And then he went to hear, no, Minister, there is a snake. there is a snake there. That's why we are now going to burn this tree down and cut and kill it. And now you try to imagine that tree is probably about 150 years to be there. The snake is on its habitat. It's not in somebody's house. It's probably lived there for many years. That specific snake did not even bite anybody or any animal. But that awareness, people were ready to cut down, kill everything, the tree and the snake. So he warned them, he tried to educate them, and because of that awareness, fortunately, that snake survived that day. I don't know if he's still alive, but the tree is also there. So that awareness is what we need. I think we have to do a lot, and we have to work together, and that's why I'm happy we have got schools to be here. So our activities, human activities, generate greenhouse gas emissions, and while some are absorbed by forest and our ocean, our seas, the rest remain in atmosphere, and they are increasing our problem when it comes to climate change. The minister continued to say, as you may recall, in 2022, Namibia, led by our ministry, participated in a conference of party to the Convention of Biological Diversity that took place first in Kunming, then in Montreal, which came up with a global agenda, a global framework on how are we going to address issues related to biodiversity loss. At that conference, countries have adopted a plan which is called Global Biodiversity Framework, with the goal really at a global level to address this problem affecting our biodiversity by 2030. This framework is emphasizing ecosystem protection and the sustainable use of our resources and the development of our environment. So Namibia as a country, through the coordination of our ministry, is fully committed to the implementation of this international obligation. So in conclusion, the minister would like to express her sincere gratitude to the leadership of Otjozondjupa region for their support in organizing this event. She would like to extend heartfelt appreciation to the regional council, to the municipality, to the organizing committee, but also to all stakeholders that were involved. We would like also to thank our partners, our development partners, who keep on supporting the Namibian government and our entities and institutions in addressing biodiversity issues, and for the wonderful work you are doing. And again, thank you also to our partners who are here today, including the Cheetah Conservation Fund. The minister would like to particularly commend the participation of our learners who are here. Your effort to raise awareness are vital to the future of biodiversity in Namibia and across the world. I think we need to work with our schools, with the Ministry of Education, to try to see how we can reinforce the subjects of natural resource or biology or conservation at our school and into our kids at a young age. After all, you learners, you are the future of this country. Some of us, we are already on our way to exit. All these things we are doing is for you, so it's really time for you to be on the table where the discussions and decisions are made so that you can continue. We need that transition to start now. So together, let us commit to living in harmony with the nature and secure a sustainable future for our towns, our communities, our country, our continent, and for our world and our planet for the generation to come. So with those few words, thank you very much. So that was a statement from the minister. Thank you. Director.
Thank you very much, Honorable Mfeti. I believe you have done justice to the speech of the Honorable Minister. And I know you already put a disclaimer at the beginning that it will be a speech of the minister and then some spices from yourself. Be as it may, distinguished guests, I think the one is clear that we are running the risk of losing our biodiversity. And our country's economy is highly dependent on biodiversity. You look at agriculture, fishery, tourism, you name them. These are all the key sectors of our economy that are dependent on biodiversity. And if you lose it, we run the risk of losing our livelihood as a nation. So we have been warned to change how we behave towards the environment. I think in that warning, I think we should heed it as of today. We're told that government is making a lot of efforts to halt the loss of biodiversity, but government alone cannot succeed. It needs all of us as citizens, as development partners in that effort. Policies and legislations are being reviewed and updated to respond to the realities that we are faced with. I think all we need is just for all of us to put in our effort. So that is the key takeaway message from the minister's speech, spiced by the person that delivered it. I'm just looking at the time. I don't know whether our program was short, or maybe the program was just directed meticulously by the director. So I want to take a little bit of credit for that, because we started late, remember, but we are already ahead of our program. So we're going to have a performance by, I think, 3 schools. 4-8, Space Bona indicated also that they have something to perform. And I believe Monica Gaingo Secondary School, they still have something to perform. And after they perform, I will allow just a small change onto the program, where I'll call upon the Deputy Director of Multilateral and Environmental Agreements in the Ministry of Environment, Forestry and Tourism, just to come and talk to us about issues of climate change. He is my namesake, Mr. Petrus Mutiaoli. I don't know whether it's my namesake, because mine is Petros, he's Petrus. But we will sort that out after the program, which is the correct one, whether it's Petrus or Petros. Can I maybe ask the schools to come forward? Space Bona? Space Bona, are we there? Maybe you can just indicate by way of a hand. Is 4-8 still also coming to perform something? It's only Space Bona. And then followed by Monica Gaingos. And then after the speech by Maimbushe, we will have a small ceremony where the ministry is going to give plants to some institutions and individuals, just to promote the issue of tree planting in our town. Space Bona? You're welcome. Introduce yourself.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Ipinge. My name is Bombili. My surname is Ipinge. I am proud of a member of the Environmental Club at Spesbona Primary School. We are excited to be part of this important celebration of International Biodiversity Day. Today we are here to learn how we can live in harmony with nature and help build a better future through sustainable development. We have a poem. The title of the poem is In Harmony with Nature. In harmony with nature, let the rivers flow, the forest stand, protect the sea, the sky, the land. From desert dunes to mountain height, nature glows in morning light. The lion roars, the eagle flies, the baobab reaches to the skies. We walk the earth with careful tread, so future children may be fed. Let's plant a tree, let's guide the air. Reduce, reuse, and always care. With every step, with every deed, we meet the planet's urgent need to grow, to build, to dream and plan in ways that do not harm the land. Together now, let's take the stand. In harmony, we lead the land. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Spesbona Primary School. I believe this is in keeping with the message that catch them young. Because if we teach them at a young age, we know that the future of our environment is in good hands if they start learning from this age that there's a need to protect our environment. Monica Kaingos Secondary School, are you still coming forward? Or you still need time to prepare? Are you not coming over?
Very good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Donald Nebab, a learner from Monica Kaingos Junior Secondary School, and I will be giving a short speech about biodiversity. Biodiversity is a variability among living organisms from all sources underpins all life on Earth. Some of the ways we can protect biodiversity is support local and regional projects aimed at tackling biodiversity loss. Factors that are affecting biodiversity loss is caused by habitat loss, invading species, overfishing, pollution, and climate change associated with global warming. We have 4 types of diversity. We have genetic diversity, species diversity, and ecosystem diversity. Functional diversity also, sorry. Ways to preserve biodiversity is support local farmers, plant local flowers, take shorter showers, and we can set up developing the biodiversity plan. The first step is gather your team and work project funding and support. Step 2, support the ecologist, outreach, assessing your local biodiversity. setting goals and objectives, write your biodiversity action plan. And the importance of biodiversity in Namibia is, it is essential for the process that supports all life on Earth, including humans. Without a wide range of animals, plants, and microorganisms, we cannot have a healthy ecosystem that we rely on to provide us with air we breathe and food we eat. How does biodiversity ensure sustainability on Earth? Supports food security and sustained livelihoods through overall genetic diversity. Biodiversity hotspots in Namibia. The Sprakegebied in the Skalenend, Karoo, Biami, and the Namib Escarpment Zone. We can be eco-friendly with biodiversity by recycling, avoid single-use plastics, reduce food waste, conserve water, invest in suitable cleaning and beauty products. So I would just like to say, what I'd lastly like to say is, we are all depending on biodiversity, and there is no way we, especially as for us the youth, we are more likely to be looked up to by the elder ones to make sure that our country is led to a great victory at the end, and that we keep our resources still intact, so foreign countries can come and be still attracted to our country after many years, so the future generation can use the resources that we used, and that we all understand and accept the fact that we, the youth, have cared for our ecosystem, and we made it friendly because we depend off of it. And that we, as a nation, should stand together, hold hands, and protect our nature, because it's the only thing that keeps us going, and it's the identity of our country, Namibia. Thank you.
So, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I go by the name Semetwole Malenga, a proud environmental representative. As I stand here today, I'm representing my environment. So, ladies and gentlemen, I just stand here to add upon what my fellow companion said, as to state the current SDGs that we are busy promoting is to why we are holding such events. So, ladies and gentlemen, the first SDG goal is life on land, which allows us to protect, restore, and promote sustainable use of terrestrial ecosystems. Ladies and gentlemen, the second goal is goal 14, life below water. Conserve and sustainably use the oceans, seas, and maritime resources. Ladies and gentlemen, goal 11, sustainable cities and communities. Make cities inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable. Ladies and gentlemen, goal 12, responsible consumption and production. Ensure sustainable consumption and production patterns. And ladies and gentlemen, but last but not least, goal 16, clean water and sanitation. Ensure availability and sustainable management of water for all. The last of it is goal 17, inclusivity in goals. Ladies and gentlemen, we know that unity is power, and not just one can be able to accomplish. A wise man once said, if you want to go quicker, go alone, but if you want to go far, go together. That's why today we stand here as to seek of the nation to hold hands in promoting such sustainable development goals, ladies and gentlemen, to be able to accomplishing each and every desired goal that we would want to accomplish. Ladies and gentlemen. So, ladies and gentlemen, our planet today provides everything we need, from the clean air, water, and food. But human activities are putting nature under pressure. If we continue to take more than the earth can give, we risk our own future. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, sustainable development means meeting our needs without, ladies and gentlemen, destroying the environment for future generations. Now, when I think about sustainable development, when I think about harmony, when I think about development, ladies and gentlemen, I know that this I cannot accomplish on my own, but I require the help of each and every citizen, or each and every single individual within this hall today to be able to reach the goals that we as a nation want to accomplish. Of course, ladies and gentlemen. So,
Sustainable development means meeting our needs, and it's about finding balance, growing our economies, and improving lives while protecting the planet. Living in harmony with nature isn't just good for the earth, it's vital for our health, our communities, and the generations to come. Ladies and gentlemen, let us all acknowledge that we just have one earth, we just have one life. So if we waste this life, ladies and gentlemen, if we today as the humans are the ones that are biodegrading our earth, then what is it that we are going to make of it, ladies and gentlemen? How are we not going to continue complaining about the food that is not sufficient for us if it's we ourselves that are putting our own ecosystem at risk? Ladies and gentlemen, how are we talking about our marine system, our marines not getting dirty? So how are we complaining about our fisheries not being productive if our own actions are the ones that are biodegrading this, ladies and gentlemen? So what is it that we today as the Environmental Club of Monica Gengos are proposing? We are proposing unity in among each and every one, that each and every citizen in this place today hold hands into making sure that we accomplish such goals for the future Europeans. With this said, ladies and gentlemen, I am proud to be a very, very environmental representative. I thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Need I say more when young people are using so much excitement when talking about the environment? I think all you can do is just to clap for them once more. Please allow me now to call to the podium Mr. Petrus Muteoli, who is the Deputy Director of Multilateral and Environmental Agreements in the Ministry of Environment, Forestry and Tourism, to talk to us about issues of climate change. Because more often than not, we hear a lot about climate change. What is it exactly, and what are the consequences of this climate change? Mainbushe, you're welcome.
Thank you very much, Mainbushe. But not really Mainbushe. You are Petros. I'm Petrus. And you can also call us Peter, if you so like. Thank you very much, Master of Ceremonies. I would like to observe and respect the protocols as established by the MC earlier on. I was not also in the program, but I thought of using this opportunity to briefly talk about something called climate change, which is a major threat to the existence of this planet if it is not handled properly. That is climate change or global warming. I will be very brief. I'll only take 10 minutes of your time. As mentioned, my name is Petrus Muteoli, and I'm the head of the Multilateral Environmental Agreements in the Ministry of Environment, Forestry and Tourism. I serve as your chief negotiator for Namibia on matters pertaining to climate change, biodiversity, and desertification. For us, the three Rio Conventions, that is the Convention on Biological Diversity, the Convention on Climate Change, and the Convention on Desertifications. These three conventions are housed within one ministry and also within one division. But for now, I'm going to specifically talk about climate change. As you might have been reading and hearing time and again about this issue on climate change. Is a serious issue. And science has established that if we do not halt global warming, the Earth, the planet, might vanish in the next 90 to 100 years to come. So it is very, very important for us to really know and understand what this issue is all about and what is being done at international and national level to address this issue. Touching a bit on historical perspective of climate change, I think those who studied environmental science would understand the difference between weather and climate. Like today's weather is too cold. It looks like it has never been colder like this in Otjozondjupa than ever before. It could be as a result of climate change, because climate change is observed over a longer period of time. The data that we have dates back as far as 100 years back. And science has established that over the past 200 years, the Earth's surface temperatures have been rising. And what is causing the temperatures to rise? It is caused by what is called greenhouse gas emissions. These are different pollutants that are being released from various industries, factories, vehicles, deforestation, and many others. So the surface temperatures are rising. And what are the consequences? What are the consequences that we expect when the sea or surface temperatures are rising? For Namibia, Namibia was identified by the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change. This is a body, it's a scientific body that provides scientific advice to the convention, UN Convention on Climate Change. Namibia and Botswana were singled out to be the most affected countries in sub-Saharan Africa. Why? Because of our aridity environment. We are already drier, a drier country. And adding more heat to the already warm temperatures that we have in this country will be catastrophic. That means we will suffer. Because they are saying when the temperature rises with 1% elsewhere, for Namibia and Botswana, it will be tripled because we are already hotter countries. That's why I think for the past 10 years, we have been witnessing severe droughts. And those droughts are robbing us our livelihoods, our livestock. Cattle are dying everywhere when there is drought. We expect even the ocean, our ocean, to warm up. And you know that when the ocean warms up or acidifies due to warming, then even some of our commercially viable fish species will migrate. We will no longer be able to catch enough fish. we expect also consequences whereby you will see increase in invasive alien species and also some insects, locust outbreaks and all those that you have seen happening. They come only when on a certain level of temperature on Earth. That's why sometimes you don't see them and other times you see them. Now, to touch briefly on the historical perspective on this issue, climate change. These talks, the negotiations on how to deal with these matters have started long way back. Dating back as far as 1972, the nations have been gathering to talk about this whole issue and how to deal with it. These talks started way back in 1972 and culminated into the Rio Conventions that we all know, the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change that was adopted in Rio de Janeiro in 1992. And it came into force in 1994. So these are UN systems, United Nations, where all countries are meeting, presidents, ministers of environment, and everybody. They meet every year. And as for climate change, there have been what we call conference of parties. These are the high decision-making bodies under the UN conventions. I think if you have been watching TVs for the past years, you would see that almost every end of the year, there have been these major conferences on climate change attended by all the presidents from all over the world, ministers responsible for environment and other related matters. They gather every year to make new decisions on how to deal with climate change. And this is the only platform, I think, in the whole UN system which brings together almost all the presidents from all over the world and all the ministers responsible for environment. Just imagine how important it is to bring all the presidents of all nations together. It is because climate change is a serious threat to the existence of this planet in this century if it is not addressed properly. So, under the UN Convention on Climate Change, we developed what you might have heard before, what is called Paris Agreement, that was adopted in 2015 at COP, Conference of Parties, the 21st session of the Conference of Parties to the UN Convention on Climate Change. And this is a legally binding treaty or legal binding international instrument that is now trying to address climate change in a way to reduce the greenhouse gas emissions so that the temperature, the global average temperature, doesn't rise anymore. What does that mean? That means each and every country on earth is obligated to reduce its greenhouse gas emissions from vehicles, from factories, from refrigerants. You see, this room is air conditioned, but some of this air conditioning devices, they contain what is called chlorofluorocarbons. And these are the chemicals that deplete the ozone layer there up. And the ozone layer is what protects the earth from overheating. So you see how the cross-cutting nature of climate change is. So we are obligated to reduce emissions. But I must say that Namibia is a net sink of carbon emissions, because our economy is small. We don't have many factories. We don't have so many cars like in other countries. We are a net sink, but still we emit, and we are still obligated to reduce our emissions as much as we can. So, what are the major decisions? I'll just touch on one in the interest of time. One of the major decisions that was agreed under this process because we have to know that when we are going to implement some of these measures, they will have consequences on our economies. You might have heard that Namibia recently discovered oil. But this is also the time when countries have agreed that we have to phase down the use of fossil fuel in order to fight climate change. It's such a precarious situation that we are finding ourselves in. If you look at European countries, they set targets that by around 2035, they will not use fuel anymore. They will only drive electrical vehicles. I think you have seen some of the electrical vehicles around the streets here. By around 2035 to 40 to 50, all these fuel-based vehicles are going to be phased out. Nobody's going to go to a petrol pump anymore. We are just going to drive those cars that are charged like cell phones. And they are already here in Namibia. I think we have over 100 by now. But other countries have more, especially in Europe. Every third car that you see there is electrical. And that is where all the countries are drifting to. Because vehicles are seen as one of those major sources of greenhouse gas emissions. And we have to stop using vehicles that are using fuel in the near future, also in Namibia. Luckily, we also have green hydrogen. The green hydrogen can also be used to power vehicles, ships, and planes. So for us, we are a bit blessed because we can replace oil with green hydrogen. Green hydrogen will be the new fuel for the future. So, but we pity some countries that are heavily reliant on oil, like our fellow African countries like Angola, Nigeria, and others that are whose economies are heavily reliant on oil. They have to diversify their economy now before it is too late. So, at national level, in Namibia now, just to conclude, we have a national policy on climate change, which outline clearly what needs to be done in terms of reducing emission and also in terms of what can we do as a nation to adapt to the adverse impacts of climate change. You might also have heard that each country has produced a document called Nationally Determined Contribution. These are documents that are submitted to the United Nations Secretariat on Climate Change, where each and every country outlines under mitigation, for instance. Mitigation is about emission reduction. What are you going to do to reduce emissions? If you look at the level of our national greenhouse gas emissions, I think about 70% of these emissions are coming from the agriculture and land use sector. And under agriculture, I think 60% of emissions are coming from livestock. You know that our cows release what is called methane through enteric fermentation when they are eating. It's a system, I don't want to explain it, but our cows are also seen as a threat. Our beef production comes with increased emission, greenhouse gas emission, and that is methane. So now these European countries and America and all the developed countries, now they are putting in place some measures called the carbon tax to tax our products that are produced. The other student was talking about sustainable consumption and production. And that is SDG 12, I think, which requires all the goods and services that are being produced in each and every country to be produced in an environmental protection manner. That means if our beef is regarded as producing methane as a greenhouse gas emission, when it goes to EU now, the EU market, or America, now we are exporting our meat to EU and America and China. When our beef now enters those markets, they will look at what efforts did Namibia do to try to reduce emission from our cattle. Because they will check how many cattle do we have in Namibia, what efforts have we done to reduce emission from our livestock industry. And then they will apply certain percentage of tax. If we do not do much effort to reduce emission from the livestock sector, they will tax it heavily. That means it will be difficult for us to export our beef to those countries in the years to come if we do not put measures in place to reduce emissions from that sector. That's just one example. That tax will be applied to all the goods and services that are being produced in each and every country. So we have to put up measures that will make sure that emissions from our livestock subsector is halted. So we have to go solar, wind, and other clean energy sources in the next years to come. Otherwise, we might lose out, especially when it comes to international trade. But that is now the mitigation part. On adaptation, we know that our country is very much vulnerable to climate change. That's why we have frequent droughts for the past 10 years. What measures are we putting in place? We are developing a program on food, fodder, and water security to make sure that the nation is food secured and our livestock industry is secured with fodder and water. So far, for the past 8 years, Namibia secured about 9.2 billion Namibian dollars on climate-related funding. And these funds have been used on many projects that you have seen around, especially from Zambezi to Kunene, to make sure that farmers, our subsistence farmers, adopt climate-smart initiatives. Some have gone to rehabilitate and excavate new boreholes. I think about, so far, 400 boreholes have been rehabilitated in most part of Kunene and other regions. That means under these climate negotiations, we have managed to establish what is called Adaptation Fund, the Green Climate Fund, and the Global Environment Facility. These are the major funding windows that have been established to address climate change, biodiversity loss, and desertification. And that is where the 9 billion came from that I've just talked about. So the Green Climate Fund is the biggest fund established so far, which is supposed to be capitalized with about 300 billion US dollar per annum to help developing countries, that is us now, to help developing countries to cope with all these environmental challenges. I think I forgot to tell you that when we talk about climate change, this problem was caused by historical, long-term emissions from developed countries. The Europeans, Americans, Japanese, when they developed on a high emission trajectory pathways, which we as developing countries have to abstain from. So what we are telling them is that, so you have caused global warming, you have to compensate us now. Because we contributed almost nothing, because our emissions are very low. But yours are too high due to your many factories that you have in your countries and too many vehicles and everything that you have there. So these funds are now established on a polluter pay principle. So to say that you developed countries have caused these problems, now you have to pay for us to implement measures in our own countries that can avoid us going through the similar process that you went through that has caused all these problems. We hope that the developed countries will respect their promises to provide such funding of about 300 billion US dollar per annum for us to undertake comprehensive climate resilient projects at national level. However, what we have been witnessing in the past decade is that our fellows are not respecting some of these decisions. They do as they wish, and we are left to deal with these problems on our own, using our own resources, yet we have not contributed to the cause of this problem. Anyhow, that's why you have this multilateral process. It's a process of talking, negotiating, day and night, non-stop. We'll continue to negotiate and hope for a better future. And I think it is our hope that when all the nations are gathered and united, we will always emerge victorious in the fight against climate change and environmental degradation. So, in short, that is what I wanted to talk about, but it is a long story. If I could have come with a presentation, I would talk the whole day. But I just wanted you to be aware of this issue being loudly talked about. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I see a lot of prominent farmers here. When it was mentioned that cows are some of the emitters of greenhouse gases, and you might be liable for paying carbon tax. I think Kusima and Mkambanda are looking away. Okay. I think, let me recognize the presence of Mr. Alphonse Chitombo, the Chief Executive Officer of Okahanja Municipality, who also joined us in the proceeding. You're welcome, sir. Just to indicate that this is a regional event. It's not an event for one town only. So from our sector, which is the local authority sector, the region is well represented in its breadth and width. You might have noticed a lot of trees just being moved around. The promise from the Ministry of Environment is that every person that is here, an individual, you're going to walk home with a plant or a tree or a seedling. And I was informed to pass the message that please don't go and plant them now. Only give them water until when? Summer. Yeah, summer. If you plant them now, winter is going to kill them. So please make sure that you just keep them home, give them water until they are ready to be planted. So I think we are at that point now before we move to the vote of thanks, where we're going to distribute the plants. I've got a list of the schools and different institutions that are going to receive the plants. And then after that, every individual that is here is also going to be given a plant. So we'll start with the distribution to the schools and the individuals. And to do that honors, I will call upon His Worship the Mayor and the Honorable Hausiku and Mr. Mufeti to come to the front just to hand over the plans to the different institutions and schools. So I'll start by calling out the names of the schools. I think maybe just over there to open here. I think each school can just send one representative or two to receive their plans, and then I'll go to the government ministries and other partner organizations. I think with your indulgence, I will start with the first school is Monica Kainko Secondary School. We will need colleagues from the Ministry of Environment to assist with the process. I think we need two, 3 people so that we can go faster. Okay. Each school is going to get 2 plants. Okay. And then we have a Tsaragaibes Primary School. And Rogate Primary School should also be ready to follow Tsaragaibes. Rogate. And Pariese Secondary School. Pariese, and I think just in that order we can just be following each other. Then we have a Project Primary School. Our newest kid on the block, the Project Primary School. Orotoveni Primary School. Spacebona Primary School. Karundu Secondary School. And 4-H Primary School. Please go and give them enough water at school until they are ready to be put on the ground. Until summer. I think all the schools know when our summer begins. Namibian summer, that is. Let us protect our environment. I was told to inform you that the mayor will be supervising these plans. So come next year on the 22nd of May, when we are commemorating again, we should see how far we have progressed with these plans. If we are done with when we are done with the school, I now move to the OMAs and the other institution. I've got the Minister of Trade. Minister of Trade. Any representative from trade is, the madam is coming over, and then Minister of Education. Education is the biggest beneficiary, in fact, if you look at the number of schools that receive the plans. Minister of Education. Minister of Home Affairs. I saw my honorable councillor here. Ministry of Information. Adembruga. Ministry of Information. Informação. NBC, Namibian Broadcasting Corporation, NBC. Otavi Town Council. Okahanja Municipality. Oshiwarongo Municipality. Otjozondjupa municipality, I don't know, His Worship, the mayor will receive them. Oh, what was Kaidoman Traditional Authority. Kayodaman. Kayodaman. My trainer is Velma. I think she has not been doing a good job. You're supposed to do that at home, not here. Otjozondjupa Regional Council. Otjozondjupa Regional Council. Ministry of Mines and Energy. I think they are together with trade. They're with the new merge of the ministries. Cheetah Conservation Fund, CCF. CCF. NAMPOL. Ministry of Health. Charcoal Association of Namibia, CAON. B2 Gold. B2 Gold. Okay. Did I leave any institution out? Do we have a Minister of Defense? Defense? Telecom? It's called Telecommunication and Postal Holding. Which institution is that? NAMPOST. NAMPOST. Telecom informed us that they are the bigger brother. NAMPOST. Oh, Grootfontein Municipality. We gave other municipality. Grootfontein Municipality and Okakarara Town Council. Okahanja got. Please, all our regional local authorities. Yes. And we have our pastor who blessed our event for the church. We are done. Then, I think, just to assure everybody that all of you that are here are going to get your plans as well as individuals now. I think then, after this, the Ministry of Environment will facilitate that process. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We are drawing closer to the end of our program, and I would love to call Mr. Shikongo Alwendo, who is the acting Chief Regional Officer of Otjozondjupa Regional Council, to move a vote of thanks on behalf of the region.
Director of the proceeding, before I go into my short, our short speech, allow me just to reflect on
3 things from the main speech of the day. Can I thank you? Mr. Mufeti, in your speech, you indicated that the government is advocating an idea of environmental officers to be appointed by the minister. I think what you have witnessed today here is an indication that in the Otjozondjupa region, we are not short of the environmental ambassadors. Therefore, that move should just come. We are ready to protect the environment. I have also observed that in many instances, when we are talking about inhibitors, which are inhibiting our progress as a nation, law is one of them. And in many instances, we either talk about repealing if that particular law is not working for us, or harmonizing if there are conflicts in laws. When I was listening to your speech and you were talking about the story of the snake, and the snake may not be just one of them, there is a reason why way back somebody came up with an idea of conserving this. It's because we have so many of creatures which are happened to be very important contributor to biodiversity, and they are living under threat. The mosquitoes we are talking about here, and in many instances you see there is conflict between somebody who is seeing a particular animal or an insect as a contributor to biodiversity, but the other person on the other hand is just seeing profit because it's coming from business perspective. Somebody will be talking about insecticides, and I think you can agree with me that as much as that person who invented those chemicals was perhaps thinking of protecting us from different diseases, it's the main intention is killing. Yeah, so those are some of the things which I think we need to look at as a nation. The conflict between conserving and profit. The other day I'm having a discussion with a colleague, and we are talking about snakes. And this colleague indicated to me, I'm particularly having a problem with the snake catchers. You call them, they come and remove a snake from your house, and instead of killing it, they are allowing it loose again in the wilderness. So when I'm talking about law, and I think we as a nation, we have done so good in educating in terms of complying, and we are good, obedient children. There is one law which I think is in conflict with what we want. I'm not going to mention it, and I think you will be able to figure it out. And I'm going to quote a provision from this law. It's section 3 of that law, subsection 15, and I'm quoting, "I will make you and the women hate each other. Her offsprings and yours will always be enemies. Her offspring will crush your head, and will bite her offspring's heel." You figure out the law I'm talking about? It is also an enemy. That law is an enemy to what we are advocating. And when we are going to talk about repeating or harmonizing, we should see also how we can be able to bring this one to justice. So, Director of the proceeding, allow me to come into my vote of speech, of thanks. The Environmental Commissioner, Mr. Timo Mfeti, representing Honorable Minister Indireni Daniel, the Chairperson of the Management Committee, Honorable Johannes Haushiku, Your Worship, your Mayor of Otjozondjupa, Honorable Ngoti Shivute, all leaders from all spheres representing various entities present here today, member of the media, distinguished guests, partners in the conservation, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Or did we move to the afternoon? It is both an honor and a privilege to stand here before you to deliver the vote of thanks on this important occasion as we commemorate the International Day of Biodiversity. First and foremost, I wish to express our heartfelt gratitude to you, Mr. Mufeti, and I must indicate that the minister did not make a mistake for sending you here and your team, sending people from the industry who are very knowledgeable, because as we are sitting here listening to you, we have learned and we unlearned and learned again. Not only those who are sitting in this hall, the media here, they have done a great job. We are live. And the public is learning from what we are doing here today. My gratitude goes to you for gracing us with your presence and for your inspiring speech that reaffirm our national commitment to preserve the rich diversity that sustain life and livelihoods. Your leadership continues to be a beacon of hope for environmental sustainability. I would also like to sincerely thank all speakers of the day, experts and contributors whose insight have deepened our understanding of biodiversity and the urgent need to protect it. Your knowledge and passion inspire us to do more and to do better. To the organizing team and supporting partners, thank you for tireless effort behind the scene. Today's successful event is a testament to your dedication, coordination, and shared commitment to this cause. To each participant, thank you for taking the time to be here, for your engagement, and for the action you will take after this day. Biodiversity conservation is not the responsibility of a few. It is a shared duty, and your presence here today reflects that spirit. As we leave this gathering, may we be reminded that biodiversity is not just about nature. It is about people, our health, our economy, and our continuous living. Let us continue working together to protect the web of life that sustains us all. Once again, thank you all, and may today's commemoration be a catalyst for continued action and renewed commitment. And thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Alwendo. That was a vote of thanks on behalf of the entire region. We have come to the end of our program. We will close with the national anthem, but before we do that, just a quick announcement. All those institutions that have received the plans, immediately after the national anthem, you will exit the hall through this door. There will be an official there to direct you. And all the school kids will also exit here, follow your teachers to the exit door. You'll be directed from there. And then the rest of the participants will remain in the hall where you'll be given your plans and directed further. May I also take this opportunity to thank the audience. You've been an awesome audience. You made it a pleasure for me to direct this event. May I then now ask you to rise for the singing of the AU anthem and the national anthem.
Let us all unite and celebrate together the victories won for our liberation. Let us dedicate ourselves to rise together to defend our liberty and unity. Oh, sons and daughters of Africa, flesh of the sun and flesh of the star, let us make Africa the tree of life. Namibia, land of the brave freedom fight, we have won. Glory to their bravery, whose blood waters our freedom. We give our love and loyalty, together in unity. Contrasting beautiful Namibia, Namibia, our country, beloved land of savannas, hold high the banner of liberty. Namibia, our country, Namibia, motherland, we love thee.
Thank you very much. We have come to the end of our program.